Guys, what's going on? Welcome to Cereal at Midnight. My name is Heath, and in this video, we go back to the thrift store for an incredible stack of DVD and Blu-ray bargains, as well as I've got some CDs to talk about in this video, but it continues to blow my mind what people are donating to the thrift stores. There are some genuine cinema classics in this haul. There's also like a complete TV series, a multi-season TV series that someone donated. I'm like, wow, you paid good money for this. You're donating it to a thrift store. Blows my mind. Now is the time. This is why we go out and hunt for this stuff, because now is the time. I did not do a lot of filming inside the thrift stores, but I've got a little bit of footage. Particularly, I wanted to show you guys this sweet stack of VHS cassettes. I did not buy these, but I thought they deserved to be seen and appreciated. I'm not really picking up VHS tapes at this point anymore for a variety of reasons. It's just so many times the movies that I thought were never coming to DVD and Blu-ray are getting announced for DVD and Blu-ray. So for that reason, as well as just storage issues and the size and the weight and all that stuff, I've really scaled back on VHS. But let's appreciate this footage of these sweet cassette tapes, VHS cassettes. And then I also wanted to show you guys this book, The Semi-Tough, the Burt Reynolds. Now it's a movie with Burt Reynolds, Chris Christopherson, but before it was a movie, it was a book. And I found the two versions of the same book, one with different covers, one with like the movie cover, one not so much. And I didn't buy either one of them, but I kind of wish that I had, but I wanted to share that with you guys. So with all that out of the way, let's dive into this stack. This is not one thrift store visit. This is multiple visits, an item or two here, an item or two here. After 5 or 6 visits, you've got a huge stack of incredible stuff. So that's where this stuff comes from. Let's just dive right in. Speaking of Burt Reynolds, I grabbed the Smokey and the Bandit trilogy. Now, there are more than 3 Smokey and the Bandit movies, but I know some of them are like direct to TV. I think there's a total of 7, actually. The more I got to, this came up in a recent video, and I thought it was 5. It's actually 7. But of course, Burt Reynolds was only in the first 2, and Jerry Reed kind of takes over for the 3rd one. And Jerry Reed is, of course, incredible. Snowman is the man. But the thing that's kind of a bummer about this is that it's 3 movies on one disc. Now, granted, it's a double-sided disc, but they've got the first Smokey and the Bandit on one side, and they've got the 2 sequels on the other side. I have multiple versions of Smokey and the Bandit. I have the original Blu-ray. I have the one to get is the version with the documentary about the relationship between Burt Reynolds and the director Hal Needham, the stuntman, his friend. It's an incredible documentary. We just did a deal alert on it not long ago at Cereal at Midnight. It was like $6 for the movie and the documentary, but I don't have the sequels. They're on manufactured on demand from Universal at this point on Blu-ray, Smokey and the Bandit 2 and 3. Have not picked those up yet, so this kind of satisfies the need for the 2 sequels. Then I grabbed The Bounty Hunter on Blu-ray. Now, this has a $3.99 price sticker on it, but it was 70% off that. So I don't know anything about this movie. I don't even remember this coming out. This seems, I'm going to be honest, this seems kind of generic, right? It's got Jennifer Aniston and Gerard Butler in it. It's a comedy where, like, she's the bounty, I guess, and he has to pick her up. And, odd couple. like a buddy, it's not buddy cop, but that sort of thing. Like, they're so different. So I don't know, but for, what's 30% of $4? Just a little over $1. It was worth checking out. I haven't watched it yet. What do you guys think about this? Have you seen it? What do you think? And I picked this one up a while back. It's been a month or 2, and I've talked about this in a video since, but I haven't showed you guys this. I finished my Alias collection via the thrift store. I bought the first few seasons when they were coming out, when this show was still on the air. I was supporting this show on DVD, but I never grabbed season 5. I wasn't a huge fan of season 5 at the time. I'll let you guys in on a theory. I think that every TV show has a lifespan of a maximum of 4 years. If you can make it to 4 years, good for you. If you go beyond 4 years, you will probably spend that show will never live up to those first 4 years. After 4 years, just the talent changes, contract renegotiations. There's different things behind the scenes in the mix. A show has 4 years of prime time if they're successful. Alias went 5, and I think it peaked around season 2, if I'm being honest with you guys. So for whatever reason, I never picked this up, but this was $3.99. It may have even been like a further discounted from that because they have color code days, so this was a blue tag, but The whole series was there, by the way, seasons 1 through 5. The entire series was there, but I just needed season 5, so that's what I grabbed. I also grabbed season 3 of Boston Legal. I love this show. James Spader, William Shatner. I'm a lawyer. And I really loved this show when it was coming on the air. I don't have season 2. I picked up season 1 at a thrift store, and now I have season 3 from a thrift store. They had, you want to know what was frustrating, is they had all these discs of season 2, but they didn't have the box. And I'm not going to have season 1 and 3 in a box and then just random discs for the other ones. I wanted the box. So I'll find it. It'll show up some point. You know, one of the cardinal rules of our 5 tips for collecting physical media is patience, patience, patience. This is not going anywhere. This show is not going anywhere. So the copies that are out there, they will always be out there, and I'll find it. It will be mine. Oh yes, it will be mine. Next up, we're getting into the classics, you guys. I told you there were genuine cinema classics. Breakfast at Tiffanys. Now, I haven't seen this movie in years. I do not own this movie, but now I do. I'd rather have a Blu-ray, of course, but as I always like to say, this purchase gives me entry into this movie, and I can watch it whenever I want to. I own this movie. I have equity in this movie. That's why we do what we do. I can watch this on my terms. Of course, Audrey Hepburn is the best, and she's in this movie. She's the star of this movie. And George Peppard, who so many people of my generation who grew up in the 80s will know George Peppard from the A-Team. He was Hannibal from the A-Team. I love it when a plan comes together. But before all of that, in the 70s, he was kind of an action guy in movies like Cannon for Cordoba. But Breakfast at Tiffanys, you guys, he was the romantic lead in Breakfast at Tiffanys. And I just think that it's really surprising to find this at a thrift store. I couldn't believe it. Maybe somebody upgraded and they just traded in their old DVD. Hello, Dolly. I've never seen Hello, Dolly. Barbra Streisand, Louis Armstrong, Walter Matthau. Was it okay, Walter Matthau? I tell you a story. I've never told this story in any Serial at Midnight video. When I was years ago, 20 odd years ago, I was seeing this girl, and she was crazy about Barbra Streisand. And I knew nothing about Barbra Streisand. And she talked me into watching The Prince of Tides with her. And she was like, isn't she beautiful? Isn't she just the best? And I was like, if you say so. I did not get it. I was not in on the Barbra Streisand. But now, a couple decades later, I'm really starting to see the appeal of Barbra Streisand, and I'm kind of understanding, after seeing A Star Is Born, not the Lady Gaga version, but the one with Chris Christopherson, second appearance of Christopherson in this, or name check of Christopherson in this video, the one with him and Streisand in it. Which I think that in itself was the third version of that story, I believe. It might have been the second. I think it was the third. I'm starting to understand the appeal of Barbra Streisand. So I grabbed this. This was $2. It's the widescreen edition. I'm sure this is on Blu-ray, but again, for $2, I can watch it whenever I want to. I'm not dependent on a streaming service like Netflix or Hulu. If it's even on any streaming services, I don't know. On that note, you guys, Roman Holiday. Another Audrey Hepburn movie. This one has Gregory Peck in it. I think I've mentioned on the channel before, I'm not a huge fan of Gregory Peck. I think that he is... I'm challenging myself, though. He's in great movies. He's in some fantastic movies. He is often described as being Lincoln-esque, and that's what that basically means is that he's very stoic. And I often find him to be so stoic that he doesn't seem to be interested in the movie that he's actually in, which makes it hard for me to invest in the movie that he's in. But Audrey Hepburn is wonderful, and this is a genuine classic that I did not have, and now I do. And on that note, I also grabbed another classic, Monkey Business. Now, this is not the Marx... I should have mailed it to the Marx Brothers. Cary Grant, Ginger Rogers, Charles Coburn, and Marilyn Monroe in Howard Hawks' Monkey Business. You guys, I have an extensive Marilyn Monroe collection on Blu-ray, but I don't have a lot of Marilyn DVDs. I think there's only a handful, this is a handful, that have been given Blu-ray treatment. The rest are on DVD. This is one of those that I believe is DVD only still, and this is 20th Century Fox. Don't quote me, but this is 20th Century Fox, and that's now Disney, so who knows what's going to happen to this movie. But I think I've been pretty public about I'm on a Cary Grant kick. I haven't watched it. I'm in the process of watching, but I've gotten dozens of Cary Grant movies. in the last month or so, and I'm just really having a blast going through movies of his from the 30s that I've never seen, and he was so prolific. But Marilyn Monroe, you guys, the American icon of beauty and of style, Marilyn Monroe. Another classic, James Stewart and Kim Novak in Bell Book and Candle. Never seen this movie. This is a Columbia Classics, and it's color. Let's see. What can I tell you about this movie? This is a who directed this? Directed by Richard Quine. I don't know who that is. Okay, I'll just show you some screenshots from the back there. But this is definitely my kind of jam. What year is this? I'm going to say 1958, just off the top of my head. I don't see a year. 1950. Holy crap, you guys! That's 1958. I didn't look at this beforehand. Do the Johnny Carson Karnak. That's some weird and some weird wild stuff there. That was terrible, Johnny Carson. Moving on very quickly. Alvarez Kelly, William Holden, Richard Widmark. Never seen this one either. Classic Western movie, but I've never seen it. Directed by Edward Dmytryk. What year is this? I'm not even going to guess on this one. It is 1966. So solid 60s Western. Alvarez Kelly. It's a most wanted Western. More Westerns on DVD and Blu-ray, you guys. We need more Westerns. That is just the first stack. So I've got another stack here. I grabbed Jimmy Fallon, the best of SNL, Jimmy Fallon. If you guys know, I'm a huge Saturday Night Live fan. And I collect these spotlight DVDs. I have a ton of them. They have them for a lot of the hosts. I wish that they would put the seasons out, but I guess with the music licenses, it's just a nightmare, and they really can't. So we have like best of collections of the sketches themselves, featured by the performer, Alec Baldwin, Steve Martin, Tom Hanks, Martin Short, Dana Carvey, Jimmy Fallon, who, you know, maybe one of these days Jimmy Fallon will catch on and he'll have some success. I really feel like you know, he's a hard worker. One of these days is going to pay off for him and he'll actually achieve some success. Dana Carvey. I grabbed the Dana Carvey one. So now I've probably got 20 of these. In addition to the first, there's, you know, they did season sets for the first 5 seasons from the 70s, the original cast. And I have 4 of those 5. I can't remember which one I don't have. I think I don't have season 5. Anyway, Dana Carvey, Hans and Franz. What do we got here? We got the Hans and Franz segment where they will pump you up. All right, I'm bailing. This was interesting. Helen of Troy. Now, I've never seen this movie, but it's directed by Robert Wise, who, Hollywood legend, right? Robert Wise, West Side Story, Star Trek: The Motion Picture, The Sound of Music, The Setup. I'm going to stop because I just get caught up in his entire resume. But this is a 1955 epic, Helen of Troy, you know, like the mythology, the Iliad, the Odyssey. Homerian epic. There we go. And this is the original pressing of this disc. This went out of print, and Warner Archive put it back into print as a burned on demand DVD. But this is the original pressing that is, it's pressed, you know. And sometimes people ask, what's the difference between burned and pressed? Pressed is done in a factory. It's, you know, got the hard shellac or whatever they call it, the gloss coating on the bottom. Burned is burned on demand like you would in a computer. And sometimes those have more strictly limited reading capabilities. You can't always read them in a computer, but, you know, this reads in everything. This is a standard store factory manufactured DVD. So I was really excited to get this because I love, you know, this is the sort of movie that inspired the Italian peplum cycle that I'm so interested in. The peplum cycle is really chasing Hollywood epics of the 50s. And then also from that same thrift store, these were $2 a piece. That movie was $2 as well. Miami Blues, still sealed, and this came from Barnes & Noble because I recognize this sticker. This is a Barnes & Noble price sticker, but $4.99. I have no idea when this was $4.99 because I can't imagine this has been in a Barnes & Noble in years, but still factory sealed. Still got the anti-theft stickers all over it. And I'll be opening this up soon. I think there is a Blu-ray of this, but I think it's like maybe a Shout Factory Blu-ray. So for $2, I was happy to add that to the collection. This is going to blow you away, you guys. I found The Good Dinosaur on Blu-ray at a thrift store for $2. And even better is it still had the code with the, you know, the Disney movie rewards points. The points were still active, and I passed the code on to my brother James, comic book savant, because he's a digital movie collector. So he got the code, I got the points. $2 for the Good Dinosaur. I could not believe it. Let's see. The Flying Nun, season 1. I think there were 2 seasons of this show. There might have been 3. Don't quote me. It was a very short run show, but this is 30 episodes on 4 DVDs. This is Sally Field back when she was still doing television. Gidget era, Gidget was a success at the box office, so they did a Gidget TV series, and she was Gidget. And then I don't remember if this was before or after Gidget, but the Flying Nun, I could not pass it up for. It's either $2 or $4. I think this was $4, but this is not, as far as I know, this is not in print. Maybe it's in print, but it's not $4. So now the challenge is to grab the rest of this, the other seasons. So I guess I'll keep an eye out for that. You guys, this one blew me away. This is the kind of thing when I was saying cinema classics, the Frank Capra collection. You guys see that? It's kind of foil, so it's kind of hard to see. The Frank Capra collection, the premiere collection. It has American Madness, It Happened One Night with Cary Grant, not Cary Grant, with Clark Gable. Mr. Deeds Goes to Town. You Can't Take It With You, and Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. You guys, these discs are in incredible shape. Here's the original. It still had the original back, this piece of paper that they put on the back with the barcode and the description of the movies. So all of the discs have their own, their dedicated discs. And a bonus disc includes Frank Capra's American Dream, hosted by Ron Howard. So a documentary about Frank, whatever this is. I haven't watched it yet, but this feature on Frank Capra. You guys, this was $2. They rang this up at $2. So 5 movies and a feature documentary hosted by Ron Howard for $2. This is what you call winning at the thrift store, because of course I love classic movies, big classic movie fan, and to find something like this at a thrift store, I don't understand. I don't understand. This has value. If not like $100 or something like that, this had pass this on to another collector. I just could not believe it. But we never know why these things end up at thrift stores. Maybe someone passes. I don't know. This is the last. This is the last DVD or Blu-ray, but this is I saved maybe the most impressive for last. The complete series of Dawson's Creek. This is all, was it 6 seasons? I'm not even sure. For $4. So less than $1 a season. This is the most recent version of this. They put them out season by season, but this is the version that collects them all with this is not great. These trays, trays on a spindle, or like these deep pocket hubs with a spindle, however you want to say that, but stacked discs on top of each other. But I went through every single disc in the store. They all look immaculate. It does not look like this collection has been touched, even watched. I missed Dawson's Creek when I was of the age. I was watching Buffy, and that was really the only teen show that I was watching at the time. Now, when will I get to this? I don't know. I'm not super, this is not high profile for me. This is not something I'm going to be watching tomorrow, but I'm happy to have it on the shelf so that I have that option. Now here's the controversy, right? Because there is extensive music replacement with Dawson's Creek. The big appeal of the show at the time was that it featured so many current songs that were on the radio, and performing like artists that were trying to get breaks and stuff. They would put the song in the show, and of course that makes a nightmare for home video release, because licensing doesn't work like that. You can license songs for television broadcast, but when it comes to ownership, it's a whole other can of worms. So they would have had to renegotiate for every one of the songs that are in here, and it would have been a costly measure, and they just didn't do it. So they just used replacement music for most. I don't think it's all of the music, but I think it's most of the music. So the those who saw the show as it aired are rightfully put out by the music replacement of this, but I never saw that, right? So I don't have that touchstone, that reference point. So I think I'll be a whole lot less bothered by it, and I could just watch it for what it is without all that music in it. So it's a complicated issue. I understand. It's unfortunate, of course, but I know there's a lot of people who are like, well, I will only buy a TV series if they have the original music. And that's fine. I understand that point of view, but do you understand that if they get all that original music, they have to license it, which means that that cost then goes into the price of the set, which gets passed on to you. So are you willing to pay $200 for a set like that to get all the music licenses or whatever it would cost? There are things to consider. It's not always just the corporation being greedy. Sometimes it's simply about what people will allow to be licensed, and it costs money to do that. So that's just a quick note on that. Talking about music, let's move into our CDs. We've just got a few really quick. I grabbed a Burt Bacharach. This is the Burt Bacharach Greatest Hits. I love Burt Bacharach, you know, 60s. I'm a big 60s music guy, so that he's like right in the middle of so much of 60s culture. So I was happy to grab this. Also, this one still sealed. Time Life did a series of vinyl and cassette and CD versions of, what do they call these? It was just the rock and roll era. That's right. And this was, I believe, the first volume of the rock and roll era. This was a 2 LP set on vinyl. I have none of the vinyl. I would like to get these on vinyl, but there are dozens of these. So this is the CD. It's 1954 to 1955. It was $1.50. It is still sealed in its original plastic wrap, and it has so many early rock and roll tracks when that jump and swing was moving into what would become rock and roll. A lot of that is here, and I love this stuff. Ray Charles, Laverne Baker, Little Richard, the Penguins, the Moonglows, the Cadillacs, Bo Diddley, and of course Chuck Berry. So I was really excited about that. Gwen Stefani, I don't remember if we have this or not. I asked Bree. I was texting Bree in the thrift store. I was like, do we have Gwen Stefani's first solo album? What is this called? Love Angel Music, baby. Love Angel Music, baby. This is the one that's got What You Waiting For, Rich Girl, Holla Back Girl. I didn't think we had this, but she was like, I'm not sure. So I was like, okay, it was $1. So I was like, okay, I'll grab it. Gwen Stefani is, of course, fantastic. And she was always, I don't know, I've always liked her. So, second to last, the Silver Sun pickups, Carnivas Silver Sun pickups, we enjoy quite a bit. Bree's a big fan of this group. We have some of their stuff on vinyl. We do not have this album on vinyl or on CD, so now we do. And last, but certainly not least, I saved something really cool for the end. The case is a little beat up, but that's okay. It's the wrestling album. This is the WWF Wrestling album that's got, listen, it's got Land of a Thousand Dances by The Wrestlers. It's got Junkyard Dog, Jimmy Hart, Eat Your Heart Out, Rick Springfield, Captain Lou Albano, Hulk Hogan's theme by the WWF All-Stars, Roddy Piper. This is amazing, and I do not know why anybody here. Let's just get a good look at that. This is Jesse Ventura. Yeah, we got Jesse the Body Ventura. Well, let me tell you something, Vince. I tell you what, we're gonna do an album. It's not a very good Jesse Ventura. I apologize for the Jesse Ventura. Vince McMahon making this like, well, I don't know, pal, face to Mean Gene. You guys get a good look at the back. This is amazing. Who are we? Okay, got Macho Man. There's Miss Elizabeth. We got there's Lou Albano. It's amazing. And the crazy part is the disc looks fantastic. It doesn't look like it's been touched at all. We got like this sweet liner note in here. Finding this for $1 was like finding King Solomon's Mines, or like the Lost Ark of the Covenant and Raiders of the Lost Ark. So happy to have this. Guys, that is this thrift store haul. Are you hitting your stores, and what are you finding? I would love to know so we can continue the conversation in the comments below. Thanks so much for hanging out, talking about this amazing score. So take care, and until next time, I will catch you later.